MJF is still frustrated in AEW and is leaning towards leaving. Plus, another WWE star is possibly moving to NXT, and the IMPACT Slammiversary main event has been announced. It's all in the wrestling news right now. MJF is still ANGRY in AEW.
Angry. Took me a bit then. School.
Some good school
English there.
In the Yorkshire. So we know that back in April it was reported that by Fightful that MJF and Tony Khan were a little bit at loggerheads about a couple of things. MJF doing an interview with Ariel Helwani that he didn't get signed off with AEW.
Yeah.
MJF being upset about the fact that he's working with sort of $1 million contract people and he's on a much lower deal, which is signed for 5 years. And Fightful Select giving us an update on the relationship there, and they say that unfortunately, MJF is still frustrated in AEW for different reasons, those that have been outlined. There has been at least some progress on the future in AEW, according to Fightful. We are told there's been open-ended mentions about him possibly getting a contract extension. Many don't believe that MJF and Tony Khan are as close as they were, though, prior to the reported discussion back in April. MJF is said to be leaning towards leaving AEW as of now, when his deal is up. As with anything, plenty can change. He's got 2 years remaining, as we've said, and if things don't change, he may seek pastures new. There's lots can go on between now and 2024.
Yeah,
I want to point that out.
Of course. I mean, on Dynamite, it seemed, I thought like, he's just sort of referencing what we'd heard back in April and stuff when we get the contract signing between MJF and Wardlow this week. MJF mentions Cody, the crowd boo, and he's like, what, you don't want me to reference 2024? Neither does the guy in the back. And I was like, ooh, they must have signed off on something to be able to say that, right? But I mean, I'm not sure with him, obviously, still being frustrated and leaning towards leaving, which, as you were saying, and as it says here, like, there's still 2 years left yet. Could very well get a world title run and things can change and everything. But yeah, that's quite a big deal, isn't it?
I get his frustration in the sense that he did sign a deal 5 years ago, and the playing field has changed very dramatically since when he signed that first deal. And he is, working big programs because he's got so very popular. He was working with guys like Cody, who were on big deals. He's working with CM Punk, who's on a massive deal.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure there is the argument to go, well, actually, I'm putting as much weight in this story as they are.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. But as it's said by Fightful, there has been a little bit of discussion between the two sides. Possibly an extension, possibly a renegotiation. At this point, we don't know, but we will let you know more. You have to believe that if the leaning does continue, WWE would very much bring him in.
I think anything that brings in the big bucks. I think he's very much leaning towards that, and I think he said that as well in the Ariel Helwani interview. Is like, whoever's throwing the most money at me, like, I'd be stupid not to go.
He was chatting to Brandon Walker on Barstool Wrestling yesterday and talked about some of the people in WWE he'd love to have a fight with, including Seth Rollins and, of course, the guy that he's been compared to a lot, The Miz. So in his head, he's kind of booking that.
I think that's clever.
The other thing to consider is, of course, this is MJF who wants the big bucks. Whoever's giving the big bucks. Conversations like this, they're gonna go a long way to helping you get the big bucks wherever you go.
Exactly, and he's not in interviews and things as well. He's not done a proverbial plops on the other company either. He's very much leaving it very wide open, and in fact he even openly praises it. I know with MJF you have to take things with a pinch of salt, but in that Ariel Helwani interview, he seems very genuine when he talks highly of WWE and the people in WWE that have helped him before. So I mean, it's at one point you'd have thought, no, never. They might strip everything away with MJF and just change his character and not let him be him. But we've seen with Cody that, even though there's a difference, I guess, between kind of like clean-cut Cody almost and MJF in terms of promos and how they present themselves and whatnot. But I think AEW know what they would have, or hopefully would know what they would have with MJF, and at least retain the core elements of that, you know. It'd be a huge thing as well, wouldn't it? A huge get for WWE.
From potential cross-promotional moving and shaking to in-promotional moving and shaking, another WWE star making their way to NXT 2.0. Who are we talking about, Andrew?
We're talking about Jordan Devlin, Tom. Jordan Devlin and Ilya Dragunov had a match last night, Thursday's 200th episode of NXT UK. A very physical match, very, very good match. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because Ilya Dragunov got the win, and I'm happy with that. But Devlin did lose that. And then Nigel McGuinness on commentary goes on to say that NXT UK is proud of Devlin, and that he knows that wherever Devlin goes, Devlin will make NXT proud. So the speculation is that maybe we'll see Jordan Devlin move to the States and do things such as like A-Kid and Nathan Frazier as well.
Yeah, there's a big push to get NXT UK talent over to NXT from off of America, and it looks as if Jordan Devlin may be heading stateside soon. WWE also announcing some more details about their next in line recruitment system. So this is where they're bringing in talent from outside of wrestling,
yes,
and giving them a chance to get their name, image, and likeness processed through there and through WWE. June 13th, Monday, at the inaugural NIL Summit at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, WWE are going to unveil some of the first recruits of the NIL service. So we're going to see some people that don't have the wrestling training as of now, but it's people who WWE think they're potential future stars in. This is WWE's big push for 2022, is to bring in less people from the indies. I don't think they're shutting down the idea of bringing in people from the indies. We've seen a few coming through. And less wrestlers and more people who can be molded into WWE's version of wrestlers.
Yeah.
And we will see that played out very, very soon. Looking over to the indies, I feel weird always calling Impact Wrestling an indie, but in some people kind of refer to it as such. It's still a fully fledged company. It's lasted longer than WCW did.
It certainly has.
Let's think on that. And they'll be celebrating that milestone once again. Slammiversary coming up next month. We have our main event for Slammiversary, don't we, Andrew?
We do. It's going to be Josh Alexander. He's going to be defending his Impact World Championship against Eric Young, Tom. And that's very exciting. Josh, by the way, oh my goodness, under siege with Ishii. Whoo-wee!
That was a fun time.
My God, that was so good, and this is going to be incredible as well. It's nice to see Josh with the title and finally getting to the spot where he kind of deserved to be for a long time, and then did all these trials and tribulations thing, the stuff with his visa as well, I think that happened, and now to see him like actually seems to be having a fantastic time as well. So
I enjoy the fact that the main event of Impact Slammiversary features an Impact / TNA OG competing for the title in Eric Young. Like, Eric Young is a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, a former Impact World Champion. He was formerly a Knockouts Tag Team Champion, lest we forget as well. That was a thing that happened back then. But I like the fact that it is somebody, because I think it looks as if Impact are going to be celebrating more of their history at Slammiversary.
Yeah.
There seems like every last couple of years, Slammiversary has been a focus on, who's going to debut? There's all these people that WWE released. Which ones will we have? There seems to be, at this point in time, a little less focus on that. I think they may make it a little bit more about the history and the lineage and the heritage of Impact. So
I like that.
Don't be shocked if we see like a Samoa Joe rock up.
Oh my goodness.
Don't be shocked if, there's a Queen of the Mountain match, the female version of the King of the Mountain match. Don't be surprised if maybe we see a Jeff Jarrett rock up at this point.
Oh my goodness.
I think there's been enough, dust that has settled, and I think enough parts that have moved that we could see a Jeff Jarrett there. Possibly.
I completely agree. I think that would be awesome, and I just think Impact are going from strength to strength still. Like, since the pandemic and everything started, I think they've just like they're in the forefront now, I feel like, like for a long time, Impact was kind of, you just used to be like, oh yeah, that's a company. And now I think we've just seen it go from strength to strength, and it's been a fantastic thing to see. So
it was great to have Eric Young on Cultaholic Island a short while ago for Desert Island Grab, so you can listen to that on the podcast feed. And talking of champions, Ross Tweddle had an amazing catch-up with AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa, and you can watch a very special episode of Straight to Hell with Thunder Rosa on the YouTube channel. This one that you're looking at right now. Wow. This very one. More news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.